Hey guys, just started recording. This is Maren Heffler, as you all know, and today we are doing a yin class. I'll be doing a bunch of poses up the wall, so make sure that you're setting up your mat near a wall. I like setting up my mat long ways, but you can do it however you want. If you wanted it perpendicular to the wall, you can have it coming out. At one point, we are going to be using the mat, so just feel free to do what works best for you, and if you need to move around, you just do you, because that's what this is all about. I have a lot of yin playlists on my Spotify under Maren Leah, so it's MarenLeah on Spotify. So you can find a yin playlist that works best for you. I have one ready to go right now. Some of my music has some soft words. Some of the playlists don't have soft words. You can pick what works great for you again. But the music for yin should be nice and slow, relaxing, not lyric heavy or no lyrics at all, instrumental music, but not fast instrumental music. Also, your room, you may want a little bit darker than usual, peaceful, also not necessarily warm. You want the room to be room temperature, not cold, because cold I don't think is great for your muscles. So enough to take the edge off. You just don't want necessarily to do yin in 35-degree coldness. Probably not great for your muscles. I always say, think of when you're doing yoga, think of your muscles like pasta, right? When you add some heat, a little bit of warmth, there's movement in the noodles. When they're cold, they're more brittle and they can break. Not that your muscles are going to break, but you understand the analogy there. Awesome. So the way we're going to start class is with our legs up the wall. Now, I will show you every single pose, and then I'll come out of it so that I can be available to you guys. If you have any questions or concerns, as always, just text them in the chat, and I can get back to you with that. But otherwise, you just do you and do what feels comfortable. If something hurts or there's too much fire, it burns, back out of it. I will give you modifications for every single pose today, so that you feel comfortable. It should never hurt. Slight discomfort, as I say in all my classes, is good for you. It's the release of tension. It's opening up your body, and it's growth. But pinpoint pain, something that is sharp pain, that is not good, and you could just back right out of that and unwind a little bit. Okay, so let's start the music. I'll count back from 3. After 1, there's a pause, and then we'll hit play. 3, 2, 1, play. So we're all on the same page. I know a lot of you are using my Yin 5 today, but so many options. And let's begin. So start to come to the wall. You're going to lay down flat and have your legs up the wall. Now, this is a great pose for when you get home from work. Not that many of us are out working right now. If you had a long day. So you want your feet about hip distance apart. Now, you can goalpost your arms right here. If you want a little bit of a heart opener, you can also have your arms at your sides. If this doesn't feel comfortable in your lower back and you have a block or a rolled up blanket, you can put that directly under your tailbone, under your lower back, kind of hoisting up your butt just a little bit. That can release some of the pressure. So you do what works for you. Remember, if you have blocks, if you have a rolled up towel or blanket, use it. And just start to settle in here. Close your eyes or soften your gaze. And just start to notice where you can release. Where can you melt down closer to the floor. We're using deep, full breaths. Notice if you have a tendency to hold your breath in discomfort or in concentration, and just gently remind yourself to come back to the sensations in your body, to your long, deep inhales and your long, deep exhales. As you settle in here, let's take a few deep, full breaths together right now. Inhale deeply through your nose. Hold it at the top. Open your mouth, sigh it out. One more, just like that. Inhale deeply and completely through your nose. Hold it at the top. And open your mouth and just let it go. And then come back to deep, full inhales and deep, full exhales in your own time. Maybe in your mind you picture that breath coming in and going out as you settle down into this pose. Notice if you feel the urge to fidget, to play with your clothing, scratch an itch. Or can you let that all go? One of the important parts about Yin Yoga and why we do this is we get deep into the big joints of our bodies, deeper than any other yoga practice can get to. Picture yourself opening up. Picture yourself letting go. This pose is really good for helping circulation. If you have swelling in your ankles or feet at the end of the day, this is a perfect pose. Your heart works a little bit less hard. You can find some deep relaxation. Some people swear by it for digestion too. From this pose, just wiggle your toes a little bit. Maybe one at a time, you roll out your ankles. If you hear some cracks, that's a good thing. It's just some fluid in your joints. And then start to walk your feet out to the sides and down the wall, coming into a goddess pose. If this is just too much for you, walk your feet up a little further. So the further you walk your feet down towards your mat, the deeper you will feel this in your hips. If you want it a little bit deeper, maybe you bring your hands to your knees and just let the weight of your arms pull your thighs open just a little bit more. If this is too much and it feels uncomfortable, you can walk your feet further up the wall. But try not to pull away from slight discomfort, because that's your hip joints opening up. Toes are pointed out slightly. And notice where you can release, especially in your lower back, and where you can release in your hips. You can even bring your hands underneath your sacrum for a little bit of extra support if you'd like. And especially in the hip openers, notice if something is holding on, some muscles gripping, maybe afraid to completely let go. Where can you find those muscles and where can you release? Maybe you take a really deep breath in. And then with your exhale, try to let go of what's holding on. Notice if something is coming up for you, maybe emotions. That's totally normal. Could be tears of joy you're experiencing, or maybe you're remembering something a little uncomfortable. Just notice how you feel deep inside, emotionally. In yoga teacher training, we talk about how hip openers make people cry. And that's not because of the pain. It's because of the release. We hold so much tension in our hips that when we take this time to really dig deep and really open up, those emotions can be released. One of the reasons we do this. Notice if muscles in your back are still gripping, holding on. Maybe muscles in your hips. Where can you release? Reaching up with your hands, guide your knees together. Go slow. Maybe you wrap your arms around your shins. Just take a little circle here, massaging your lower back into the floor. When you're ready, plant your right foot on the wall and then hook your left ankle over your right knee, coming into a figure 4. Now when we do this in a regular yoga class, we're usually laying down flat and then we interlace our fingers behind our right thigh. Here you actually don't have to do that. You can use your left hand and push your left knee further open if you would like. You are in control of how deep this hip opening goes. And notice how different this hip opening feels from the goddess pose. Can you feel it in different sections of your hip? Notice where your mind is right now. Are you still here on your mat? Are you still breathing, or are you holding your breath? Don't be hard on yourself. Just guide your way back. Try to be present in the sensations. Try to be present with your breath. Where can you find that meditative spot, that spot in your third eye that feels heavy, that spot right before you fall asleep of pure calmness, of letting go? When you're ready, slowly uncross your left leg. Bring your knees in towards your chest again. You can take some circles, maybe a little shift side to side, massaging your lower back. And when you're ready, plant your left foot on the wall and hook your right ankle. Again, you're in control of how deep you're pressing your right hip away. And what also helps is walking your foot down. You might feel it a little bit more. Walking it up, you might feel it a little less. You might need to shift your hips closer to the wall to feel it. You work out what's best for you because nobody knows your body better than you. This is your practice. From here, start to unhook your right ankle. Bring your knees into your chest again. Give yourself that moment of hug, maybe some wiggling of your ankles. Get the blood flowing. Draw some circles with your knees. And then open your arms out to a T and let your knees fall to the right. Turn your head to look over your left shoulder. Nothing needs to be against the wall. Just coming into a supine twist. If you'd like to close your eyes or soften your gaze, go for it. Notice if one of your shoulders is pulling up and try to release it, melt it down towards the mat. Coming into this deep twist. I've heard yin described as putting a kink in a garden hose. When we're in these poses, maybe some blood flow is restricted. And then when we release it, we unkink, and then the water rushes through, our blood rushes to the joints, refreshes them, rejuvenates them. Yin also is really great for lubricating our big joints. Especially when practiced fairly regularly. Notice where you can soften in this supine twist. Maybe a muscle in your neck or shoulder that's holding on. Where can you let go? Are you still breathing? Deep, full, and complete breaths. Maybe you start to count 4 or 5 seconds in. Hold it at the top. 4 or 5 seconds out. You can also start to think of your breath like an infinity sign, where you can't quite tell when one breath ends and the next one begins. What sensations are you feeling? What is this bringing up for you? With your next inhale, bring your knees back to center. You can roll it around a little bit on your lower back. And then when you're ready with your exhale, guide your knees over to the left. Open up your right arm and turn your head over your right shoulder. Your left hand can stay on your knees if you'd like. Maybe that weight feels good to pull them down. You can also just keep your arms open to a T. Maybe you notice here that one side feels different than the other. Maybe one side feels more open. That's completely normal. Just notice it. Don't hold any attachment to them being the same. Where can you soften your shoulders down just a little bit more? Where can you let go? Where can you soften around your edge? Muscles melting around your bones. That edge is the point where any more is too much and any less is not enough. Are you still in this room? Are you still taking deep, full breaths, nourishing your body, filling everything up, every cell with oxygen? Maybe you focus your attention right on that third eye spot, in between your eyes and your forehead. Maybe every inhale you think about lengthening just a little bit, creating space away from your tailbone, pulling the crown of your head away. And then every exhale, maybe you twist just a little bit deeper. Imperceptible to anybody watching, but you can feel it. If you're still looking over your right shoulder, turn your head to the left. Maybe you go back and forth just a little bit, rolling your neck. And then bring your right hand across towards your left hand and just come onto your side. Just a fetal position. You can use your left bicep as a pillow. right palm in the floor. And just stay here for a moment. Notice each side of your body. Does one feel different than the other? How do your hips feel? And then using that top hand, that hand that's pressing into the floor, push your way up onto all fours. You're going to have to readjust onto the mat. Beautiful. Now start to walk your hands away and slowly come down onto your belly. And then press your forearms into the floor and just lift your chest up. Coming into that seal pose. Now you can hang your head heavy if you'd like, or maybe it just rests upon your neck. Try not to have your shoulders up by your ears, so you're pressing into the floor. And you should feel this in your lower back. If you would like to press your palms into the floor for a little bit deeper back bend, you can. But you can just stay right here in this restful pose, getting a deep back stretch, a little back bend. Also stretching out your belly muscles. Your feet are about hip distance, maybe even a little further than hip distance. And you can let your heels flop out just a little bit. And just settle in to the Sphinx or seal, if that's what you prefer. Remember, if any of these poses don't work for you, then don't do them. This is your practice. You do you. Where can you soften your pelvis a little bit further towards the ground? You might feel sensations in your biceps, working a little bit harder. And know that if you need a break, you take a break. If you want to come down onto your chest, if it's a little bit too much of a sensation, you can do that. If you have a block or a rolled up towel to prop your chest up lightly, you can do that too. This is your practice. Can you soften your mind? One more deep inhale. Exhale, slowly release down onto your belly. You can use your hands as a pillow. And bring your feet up and maybe you windshield wiper your feet back and forth to release your lower back. This movement also, besides being good for your lower back, is actually good for digestion, massaging your belly into the floor. When you're ready, let your feet come down to the floor, tops of your feet pressing down lightly. And open your arms to a T. Now, if you're very close to the wall, you can always shift your mat, your body away from the wall if you'd like. Now walk your right palm in towards your right ribs. And then you're going to push the floor away from you, keeping your left arm, your fingertips walked away. So it's at a T. I'll show you what that looks like. Just like this. And you're looking over your right shoulder. Your left cheek is on the floor. And then push the floor away as you roll up, stepping your right foot back behind your extended left leg. And let your head come down. So you're getting a deep shoulder stretch here. If this is too much in your shoulder, just walk your hand closer down towards your hip. If you want to feel more of it, walk your hand further up. And if you'd like a little bit more of a stretch, maybe you wrap your right arm behind your back. If you want a little bit more, you can actually bring both feet to the floor, knees pointed up towards the ceiling. It's one of my favorite shoulder stretches. It's hard to find something that gets in there as deeply as this one does. Just like the other poses, you're in control of how much you feel here, how much opening your shoulder is doing. You don't have to push yourself hard to feel it. Just notice the sensation. Notice if you feel the urge to come out of it, to fix your clothing or shake something, itch something. Where can you breathe through it? How can you hang in just a little bit longer? Maybe you say to yourself, take 5 more breaths and then check in again. Could be your mind that's telling you to come out of a pose and not your body. Slowly start to walk your right hand away from your body. If it's behind your back, bring it forward. And then roll slowly onto your belly. Go slow. You're going to feel that in your left shoulder. Now just stay here at a T for a moment. How does your right shoulder feel different from your left shoulder? Just notice it. And then bring your right cheek to the mat. And walk your left palm in towards your left ribs, coming into the other side. So push the floor away from you. Your left fingertips are still walked away from your body. And then push the floor away, stepping your left foot behind your extended right leg. Your right cheek or head comes down towards the floor. And you can wrap your left arm around your back if you'd like. Remember, both feet can come to the floor, both knees can point up towards the ceiling. But if any of this is too much, just walk your hand down by your hip. If you're not feeling it enough, walk your hand up. Getting that deep right shoulder stretch. Notice if you're holding your head up. Try to release it down. Yes, exactly, towards the floor. What else can melt just a little bit deeper? Notice where your mind is. Notice where your breath is. Can you guide it back home? Take one more deep inhale. If your left hand is behind your back, bring it forward. And exhale, slowly roll onto your belly. Bringing both arms out to a T. Maybe your chin to the mat. And just notice, again, how different your shoulders feel from when you started. Can you feel the blood rushing into the joint? If you're comfortable where you are on your belly and you want to take Shavasana on your belly, you can. You can maybe bring your palms together, one on top of the other, and use it as a pillow. Or a very easy way to get into Shavasana from here is to walk your hands forward and yogi pancake, flip right onto your back. You'll need to readjust onto the mat. Bring your feet to the corners of your mat, Arms away from your body, palms up to receive the energy of the room, or palms down to ground you if you need some grounding, if your thoughts are flighty. Start to settle in here to the Shavasana, this deep relaxation where your body absorbs every single thing we just did. Use this time as a meditation, as a rest. Maybe you notice the blood flow in every part of your body. What feels softer? Where can you let go a little bit more and rest? I will guide you out when it's time. bring some awareness back into the room. Notice how everything feels right now. Every joint, every skin cell, blood cell. Maybe you notice how different your mind feels from when you started. Just notice it. And start to wiggle your fingers and toes, roll out your wrists and ankles. Start to feel your breath deepen. So next inhale, reach your arms up overhead, point your toes away from your body, take a full body stretch. And then exhale, bring your knees in towards your chest, wrap your arms around your shins and give yourself a hug. This moment of gratitude. You showed up today. I hope you found a slice of calm, peace, of opening. Slowly roll on to your right or your left side, whatever side you need right here. And just stay for a moment. Maybe you note what feels more open, what feels more alive, with blood, with energy. Using your hands, push your way up to a comfortable seat. Your eyes stay closed or your gaze softened. Hands come to heart center. Let's take a couple of deep breaths together right here. Inhale deeply through your nose. Open your mouth and let it all go. One more, just like that. Inhale deeply through your nose. Hold it at the top. And then open your mouth and sigh it out. You are loved. You are brave, and you are enough. The love and light within me honors and respects the love and light within you. And it is with this love and light that we are all connected. Together we say namaste. Thank you guys for joining me. That was Yin. If you have any questions or concerns, you can text me or write it in the chat here. I'll be around for a few minutes if you'd like to talk. It's so nice to see all of you. Love you guys lots.